it? Does that take audio also? Yeah, it's hearing everything you're saying right now. But that's okay. I was going to say something naughty too. Say something naughty. It always gets boring. It always gets boring. We need something. You have me on tape. I can't. There's truth.
And so on a Saturday morning with temperature about 32 degrees, we headed out on the Upstate Winter Bicycle League. Just some normal, easy riding, climbing, as you always get in Greenville. It was a beautiful day. I mentioned it was 32 degrees when we started. When we finished up, it was about 52 degrees. Wasn't very windy. Really, once we got into the ride, it was beautiful. As you can see, nice winter morning. We did the course in reverse as we did last week. And so the places where we normally would be climbing, we were going downhill and vice versa. This is in the first section. I guess you could divide this day up into two halves, each about 30 plus miles. This was in the first section, going through a wooded area. Then we got on, I think it's Duncan Hill Road, and we were told to ride two abreast. That didn't work out. Then we turned off and went into an attack mode. My decision was to stay back at the back, but I got a little tired of being at the back because this is what I was seeing as I was trying to climb, and so I decided to move around as the group began to stretch out. Found it much easier to move around the right side. Then I saw Billy White going off and decided to follow. He had a friend coming up behind him, so I let him in and then jumped on their wheel. We continued for quite a while, just the three of us, until we reached a climb and things kind of fell apart. So I went around and continued again for quite a while by myself. That wasn't much fun. But before long, Luis Sanchez came and caught me and passed me, and I drafted off of him for a bit. Finally, he dropped, and I went around and came to our first stop of the day at the BP station. Everyone took a break, and I guess before this is over with, we'll have 3 different stops, or at least 2 during the ride that we'll make. We started heading back toward downtown. Again, the ride was pretty normal, stretching out back and forth to the front, to the back. Here I was following a rider up to the front and decided I didn't really want to be up there because that would mean I'd have to pull. So I just jumped back in the back. That's the PT Cruiser that came flying around us. It was time to celebrate once we saw him. I went out front and pulled for a bit at this point, and then decided to drift back into the group until it was time to get on the highway and head into the attack zone for the final sprint. If you go to locatance.com, you can see this entire section, which is about 8 minutes long from beginning to end, so you get an idea of what the final sprint is like. These are just some clips taken from that. Again, by the time we reached this point, it was nice and warm. I could have ridden all day in that type of weather. Attacks coming and going, people who were attacking earlier falling back, me nearly taking out a guy in front of me. But finally the sprint is over and it's time to head on home. Here we are coming in on Augusta, headed back to Carolina Triathlon, right near the West End Stadium, which would be to our left there. Then finally turning onto Main Street. And that was our ride.